documents make up an estate plan? Hi, I'm Alec Osland, an attorney at Yanowitz Law Firm, where we've been assisting families for 30 years with wills, trusts, and probate. So an estate plan, is it just one document? Are there multiple? Does everything have to work together? Or how does this work? Those are all questions that I get from a variety of clients when thinking about an estate plan, because the big question is, what is all this? So when we think about estate planning, we do it for really two reasons. One, we want to identify where our assets go when we pass away. And two, we want to identify who's going to be in charge of collecting these assets and making sure they end up where they're supposed to go. So with an estate plan, there are a variety of documents that we need to prepare. The biggest and most common ones that people think of is a will or a trust. And now a will or a trust are going to control where your assets go when you pass away. We're going to have certain distribution language for how the assets pass, maybe some conditional language for maybe some conditional gifts, things like that. In the will or the trust, we're also going to identify either the personal representative in the will, or if it is a trust-based estate plan, we're going to identify the trustee, and those are the jobs of either an individual or a corporation with who has the fiduciary duty to the beneficiaries to gather and manage and distribute those assets accordingly. So again, those are kind of the two big documents for the distribution that people think of, oh, an estate plan, oh, it's a will or a trust. Now there's a couple other documents that we also want to make sure we prepare as well. One is a healthcare directive. A healthcare directive is a legal document that allows you to appoint an agent that can make medical decisions on your behalf if you are unable to. Then we will also prepare a power of attorney. A power of an attorney is a legal document that allows you to appoint an agent who's able to make essentially any non-medical decisions with any of your assets that are held individually while you are alive. The power of attorney is only while you are alive, and the personal representative is when you pass away. So I get a lot of questions on that of, oh, so my power of attorney can just handle things when I pass away? No. Powers of attorney are only effective while you are living. Also, as part of an estate plan, we may also prepare deeds. We may be doing a transfer on death deed to convey some real estate when you pass away. We might be doing a quitclaim deed to maybe naming another joint tenant on the real estate. There's a variety of different reasons that we'd convey real estate to someone else, or we might convey it to a trust, or we can do a transfer on death deed to a trust as well. We also want to prepare beneficiary designations or paperwork to update ownership of certain accounts. So we want to have letters that identifies, how should this be named? Essentially, the instructions that you can give institutions for how they should retitle a certain account or how they should update the beneficiary. Anytime we are updating the ownership of an account or updating the beneficiary of an account, we always want to get written confirmation from the institution that it has been done. We want to review this written confirmation and make sure that it is done correctly. There's humans on the other end of everything. So we want to make sure that no numbers or letters or anything got transposed, everything is spelled correctly. So I always recommend that anytime you update the ownership or the beneficiary designation, that you get written confirmation of what has been changed. Also, with an estate plan, we give our clients a flow chart. They may not want to spend a lot of time reading through the estate planning documents if they don't remember what happens or who does what. So we prepare a flow chart which gives a nice visual for our clients to look at to understand, hey, this is how your estate plan works. This is where the assets go. These are the individuals that are going to be your power of attorney, maybe your trustees, your agents under your healthcare directive. So again, it's just a one page. It kind of has everything so they can look real quick and maybe refamiliarize themselves with their documents. We also give a glossary which kind of goes over a lot of definitions and gives a brief summary of how your estate plan works. We will also, if we're doing a trust-based estate plan, we'll be preparing a certificate of trust. The certificate of trust is the document that you will have to most likely give any institution if you are updating your accounts and you are naming a trust as a new owner or as a beneficiary, the institution will most likely want to see either a copy of the fully executed trust or the certificate of trust. I always recommend that you only give them the certificate of trust, as that is all that they need, and they really don't need to see your full document because it's really not their business to look at your entire trust. They just need that certificate of trust, which proves that you have a executed trust, which is all they need. We'll also do assignments of personal property, and then we'll also do a personal property memorandum. On that personal property memorandum, it allows you to identify which tangible property you want to go to when you pass away. With that personal property memorandum, that's where you'd list maybe if you have jewelry or a family heirloom, if you wanted to go to a certain individual. On those personal property memorandums, we cannot list monetary gifts. So if you'd like to give, a friend or a family member a certain monetary value, that distribution must be included in your will or your trust or added as a beneficiary designation on an account. If you have an interest in an entity, such as an LLC or partnership or corporation, we'll also do business assignments, which is going to identify how the interest that you own in the business is going to pass when you pass away. Anytime we are doing business assignments, we do want to review that operating agreement. The operating agreement is what's going to control essentially the business and the structure and how those shares can pass. So we want to verify that we can assign those interests when you pass away. We're not bound by other terms that contradict that in the operating agreement. So these are some of the documents that you're going to see when you prepare an estate plan. Depending on the situation, there may be additional, there may not be all of these, but these are generally the most common documents that you're going to see when you prepare an estate plan. So again, I'd like to thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you learned about the documents that are going to make up an estate plan. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you.